Welcome back to some of the most unreasonable real-time strategy gameplay I've ever seen. 110 commanders loading into Pentos, 5 teams of 22 commanders apiece, but it only requires 1 to claim victory. The game, absolutely free to play, beyond all reason. The inspiration, total annihilation. The poorly planned segue. Begging you to smash that like button and maybe even subscribe and help me counter the algorithm. And Jimmy, what are we at? 500 likes on this video, on this cast, and I'll cast another one. And while we got spectacles like this one, and we got a few more, I'll probably do it anyways. But thank you for watching. Hopefully, you've had a good day so far. And hopefully it's about to get just a little bit better. And a bit more unreasonable. Let's, introduce the teams. We're just gonna go with the top players around the horn. In the southeast, the top player for the blue team, it's Teddy. Cover that momentarily. The yellow team to the southwest is led by Little Worm. And now to the north, the northwest, the top player, Classic, for the red team. Due north for the green team, Ragna. And last, but certainly not least, to the northeast, we have Emmer for hot pink. And Emmer, I believe, one of the, if not the highest ranked players in the game at 70. Very almost nice MMR there, but with a 70 rating, that puts him at pretty much the top of the leaderboard. We'll see if it's enough to carry his team to victory against almost 100 other commanders. But the battles have already begun, and you may have noticed we're going to be getting our feet wet in a bit of a literal sense, as the commander is able to traverse the shallows and the depths of the outer sides of the map as well. As are many of the units. You can tell the difference by the way it is. Isn't that neat? Only naval ships, or also known as ships, and hovercraft can traverse the deeper water, and of course aircraft. But any unit, for the most part, can traverse basic water, besides very small ones like ticks. So, now claiming the medal is important, but just holding territory will make it that much harder for the other teams to engage. And, well, the majority of the top players seem to have taken to the water. And between the energy generation potential and the fact that if you don't control the water nearby your other relevant production, you're going to have a bad time. Especially since this is literally just islands across the board of varying size. So the battles already begin. There's a set of turrets and units for the water as well as on land. Sometimes specific, sometimes the same ones can be used. A lot of the commanders there as well. Emmer is just speeding out the production. Already has a fleet headed down to the south. Wow. Another commander. There are 3 commanders dead over here, as the destroyers are already making their way by. Quite a fleet headed south, as blue has almost nothing to defend it, which could be quite problematic. Already working towards tier 2, but I don't think they realize the magnitude of the issue at the moment. Meanwhile, in the center of the map, blue team has claimed some territory, a few turrets up, but they're beset. Ooh, a gunslinger. One of the hardest units to deal with just tier 1. Great attack speed, great range, great swagger. It is a very strong choice to break through these locations, but of course, nothing is forever. Meanwhile, another gunslinger just blasting through, just rallying them out. I think the disintegration gun from the Legion commander is certainly more than enough to deal with that. The battles for the center continue. Now, the ultimate goal is gaining as much metal as possible. Well, the ultimate goal is destroying all the enemy commanders, but having as much metal as possible is the way you do that. And you can see at the top right how much metal per second in that first number, and then energy, which is used to convert that metal into units. You need energy for pretty much everything. So whoever has the highest, especially by a significant and consistent margin, is usually the furthest ahead. Teddy facing off against Little Worm to the south. Let's not neglect the northern battles, but it seems like a lot quieter in the sea so far. Hot pink is holding. Green moving in with a small fleet, but not an overwhelming number of ships. Not like Emmer pushing south, including with his commander as well. We need to do something, which is pretty non-specific, though not necessarily inaccurate. But the battles continue across the board, and everyone but the blue team seems to have some fighter cover in order to zone out any sort of bombing runs or other shenanigans. Fighters very effective against one another and bombers, but can easily be cut out of the sky if you don't have a critical mass. Looks like the yellow team has quite a nice infrastructure coming together. I try not to rotate the camera too much because it can get a bit disorienting. But let's be clear. And beyond all reason, there is no limit. You want to look at the world from this perspective? Oh yeah, I believe I've actually watched some replays of Emmer. He has, or she, or it, has quite a unique perspective on camera angles. Though not demonstrating it here, this is relatively sane. I've seen some ridiculous, like, this sort of angle gameplay. Oh yeah, he's all over the... Okay, alright. We're just gonna let that go. But in replays, of course, you can take a look from the perspective of the players. I think it's very important to note how little vision that these teams have. The radar is just a set of dots until you get visual contact and can assign a tag. And from their perspective, they don't know what's out there. So even though we could see almost literally everything from the observer perspective, remember that the teams are working off that imperfect information. Blade Runner and Aquila, quite a battlefield. Was clearly... The wreckage in the center really shows the story, as the other team slowly but surely getting taken out. But we've got some Legion rail guns now working their way there. I don't think the center is so important for resources, but for that map control... Oh no! Looks like something landed and just activated a chain reaction on a bunch of wind turbines, which is usually why you have this sort of spread, in order to prevent such a chain reaction from happening. Many units and buildings explode when they die, potentially damaging and causing other similar buildings to explode. Which, oh my... You know, actions speak louder than words. And that action certainly was quite loud. Looks like a commander came up and self-destructed, taking out everything on the corner. Maybe not quite as much as he wanted to get, but certainly cutting into the blue team's position, even more than Emmer with his fleet. Battle's continuing. Some missile ships at the back. Destroyers. And now some cruisers coming up as well. Blue team really struggling on both fronts. Let's take a look for yellow now. Hey! Traffic jam. Maybe if they build all of... So... That'll be an interesting one. The ships can't actually fit in between the tidal generators. Which, 15 energy per tidal generator on this map. Each map has its own specific. We've got some ducks. You can tell by the way they are. They also have a torpedo. They're amphibious battle mechs, which have a laser on land, and then they fire off torpedoes and are actually quite useful anti-ship, effectively submarines. The wreckage under the water. Ships can be resurrected, which is a big part of especially smaller team in 1v1 battles, but in this case it looks like Emmer just trying to reclaim that metal, add it to the total. There are some Marauders, tier 3 assault mechs building up, also amphibious, so they can move across the water quickly. Looks like the blue... Well, I can declare a few things. One, the blue team is in trouble. That's clearly true. They are by far the least income. The yellow and pink teams are effectively squeezing the blue team for their resources and map control. Teddy, about to sacrifice himself to try to take out the ships, but isn't even able to get the self-destruct, is taken out entirely. Ships continuing. And they're just dead. Indeed. Railguns pushing through. Blue team also losing the center to the Marauders as they blast their way through. Commanders trying to fight, but the Marauders outmaneuver them. And it appears they will no longer be kings of this particular hill. Another commander getting hunted down, but now those Marauders from the red team. So they're taking some control. Bombers coming in. Hovercraft fleet. I don't know if it's really a fleet, more like a flotilla. But trying to fight directly against battleships is optimistic. Is it? I mean, they can get some flanking damage. With enough of them, maybe, but no. No, they all get knocked out. Those are tier 1 against tier 2 as well. The battle's continuing. Blue almost completely wiped out of the water, still holding on to their main island. We've got fusion reactors with like massive energy beacons throughout most of the bases now, but definitely an existential threat if they get taken out. Some plasma deflector shields, which are exactly what they sound like. Very important to note, they don't absorb projectiles, they deflect them. Ideally away from things like fusion reactors, but that can have unintended consequences. Emmer has not quite been oh, he has a cruise missile. I don't actually think I've... A cruise missile ship, which clearly has the range to assault the land, and this is the danger of losing a significant portion of the sea. Is so much of it can assault your vulnerable points on land. Well, as you can see, things are looking at the counters. The yellow team really starting to scale their resources. They have a lot of fusion reactors. You can see those radioactive looking icons. They have 70k energy. Pink is at oh, no they aren't! No, they are not! Oh, a huge bombing run comes over the cliff. They break through, and wow. Well, that will certainly... I would agree with that statement. They are cooked and in the burned it way too quickly way, as opposed to tastily seared, as just wiped out about half the energy production of the entire pink team. They still have the energy production from the sea, but now green, with a Tyrannus, a flying fortress from the Legion. They're tier... Well, it's not tier 3, but it's close. It's effectively a tier 3 ship from the aircraft plant. Yeah, it fires off. Reminds me very much of a StarCraft 2 battlecruiser. Just needs the Yamato cannon. But they've got most of that covered. A experimental gantry can actually build underwater, but still going to be vulnerable to the Tyrannus. But having all that economy, we now see the power grid in a pretty literal sense moving forward. Some pulsars on land, keeping a few of the ships at bay, but Emmer has focused all his efforts to the south, which means they've broken to green in the north. And a new challenger approaches. The green team... Oh, but guess what? Another round of bombers try to come in, but both sides do have some anti-air turrets dotting the cliffs. But all it takes is one particularly good bomb landing in the very wrong or very right spot. And things can go, well, a much brighter outcome, but very temporarily. More cruise missiles. Wait, is that cruiser? No, the split bomb, cluster bomb ship. You can see it splits into multiple munitions. And sorry. I mean, not sorry, but another bomb comes out. And the yellow team just lost about 30k energy. And that leaves red as red and green, neither of which have been hit too hard so far, are maintaining their position. Pink is rebuilding and leaning on the fact that blue is almost unable to put on any pressure. Yellow has much of their energy production. What do we have here? Tier 2 energy converters. And naval fusion reactors. They're putting their energy production underwater, which is vulnerable in its own ways, but red trying to take advantage. More hits coming through. Multiple battleships of the blue team again getting squeezed. Yellow and pink do not know about the assaults of the other side, but at this point it's almost implied. And it looks like red and green are coming out as the potential contenders here. Long-range plasma cannons on the beaches, which certainly can assault their neighbors. Yeah, red is at 88k and green at 84,000 energy per second, which is not a huge, well, in comparison, a huge number, but blue is moving into the yellow base, finding it remarkably empty. But blue only has 24k. We gotta keep an eye. A tumbleweed! So, it's a ball with a nuke warhead inside. Wait, can it climb the cliff? Yes? Yeah? Well, this is the most important... Oh my god! This was not the most important thing. Green! Loses the entire base. My apologies. I was too focused on the ball with a nuke warhead to see the bombers. I think we need to just, like, keep this view. And now yellow has completely... Oh, a flagship. The Black Hydra. The flagship is completed. Anti-nuke interceptor is launched to intercept the nuke. Knocks it out. Wait. Nuclear ICBM. I didn't even know those existed. Intercontinental ballistic submarines. But the red team now pushing its way through on the western flank. Blue is trying to hold on desperately. Yellow actually still has 75k energy. They've moved most of their civilization into the sea. The sea lanes are jammed up by energy converters. So it's a very precarious situation here, but they seem to have left just enough space in order for their ships to move out. Some hover tanks moving in. Oh, gotta be careful. Tiny little hovercraft darting by. But since buildings are made out of a stick of bubble gum and a barrel of dreams in this game, they are very vulnerable to disaster. Is that a calamity? A rapid-fire long-range plasma cannon? Another massive explosion, and the green team, what little hope they had, may be gone. Meanwhile, pink is rebuilt, though. Almost opposite. Is that a nuke bomber? An epic Stormbringer. Try to finish things off. And looks like they may be successful. With another massive set of bombs being taken down. The ballistic submarine is moving. Takes out a few energy converters with it. But the battle. The flagship's moving up. Super heavy assault corvette. The supporter. I feel like we could come up with a better name than that. But flagship shelling. Submarines underneath. keeping cover of everything. More bombers. The Stormbringers wiping out what's left of the green team. The blue team still holding. Barely. Their plasma shields deflecting what they can. Trying to build some advanced fusion reactors. Do they have enough shields to actually protect this? I don't think so. Shields have a finite amount. They can be recharged with energy, but they can only hold so much. Each shot drains it. Eventually they'll break through, and the bomber's finding an angle. They'll spot the fusion. It's not quite enough. There's enough repair for now, but another bombing run takes it down. But they now have a bead on it for the flagships to potentially take out. Another commander. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa! The rattlesnakes. Sorry, razorbacks. The battle mechs make their way through a juggernaut, looking to contest it. But the razorback's going to be able to cut a lot of the infrastructure before the juggernaut can actually take them out. The flagship's trying to help. Meanwhile, broadsides being exchanged. We got bombers on top of the flagships, which are literally up against the ends of the earth right now. They're not able to move back. Razorbacks driven back for now. Green team is all but gone. They're down to 4 commanders. There's 50 total commanders on the map. Juggernaut's trying to drive the Razorbacks all the way off the map. Actually, yellow still has the most energy. They combine forces. There's an entire... The sea floor is covered in fusion reactors right now. I don't think I can actually see directly underwater, but all those little globules there, fusion reactors. Tyrannus coming in. Juggernaut zoning out. Some anti-airships contesting him, though. And those Tyrannus gonna have a tough time breaking through. What is that thing? Long-range plasma cannon ship. Well, that looks hilarious. We have pretty much all the experimental units that aren't necessarily in your average multiplayer game enabled, because why not? They just strapped a plasma cannon on a ship. If it floats, the flagships are able to hold for now. But that creates some interesting options. Almost 100k energy apiece for the 3 contenders in the game. Technically, blue is still here. Even more technically, green is as well. There's the tiny chance they can claim victory by everyone else suffering from mutually assured destruction. But unlikely. So the interesting part is the teams can't see how many enemy commanders there are on each team. They can only see how many in total. So that means it's almost impossible to narrow down which team is struggling the most if they're out of vision range. As you see the yellow team's vision, there's so much. Are those tactical nuke launchers? Indeed they are. More bombers coming in, but a wall of flak cannons are wiping them out before they get anywhere close. The bombers try to target the flagships, but the Juggernaut's easily able to waltz across most of the water. This calamity gonna take about 3 more years to finish. What do we have here? The Epoch flagship facing off against the heavy assault corvette. Oh, a huge bombing run though. The Stormbringer's taken down. Didn't get close. Another key part is the fusion reactors are underwater, so they don't get in the way of the ships trying to maneuver. Multiple plasma ships. Blue team is still not done, though. There's a red... This is a red team tumbleweed. Self-destructing now. Oh, that's just mean. Alright. The cliff protected most of the blue team, it looks like. And now here comes Emma with a pod of orcas. The submarine's actually able to take this out. Now this could be potentially disastrous. I don't think they have... many ships have depth charges and other sort of anti-submarine weapons, but they're not nearly as well suited to dealing with it. A juggernaut. How did this juggernaut even get there? If the orcas get the right hit on the fusion reactors, it could be a disaster. Pink still holding. Blue, quite a thorn. It looks like the green team has outright been eliminated. So now we have 4 teams left. Some juggernauts brawling. Another round. Flagships holding the line. They've got some Grim Reaper Resurrection subs, which... The Resbots of the sea... Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Well, fusion reactors, it looks like their explosion is significantly muted underwater, which, you know, I guess makes sense. Another benefit of controlling the sea. They haven't even bothered much. They're resurrecting some of the reactors on land with Resbots. So, they counter the Epoch flagships with a flying flagship, which is exactly what it sounds like. So, wait, what happened to the flagships in general? Did they get taken out? Yes, it appears so. The flying flagships are enough to do so. And now they're tanking so many hits. Meanwhile, long-range plasma cannons firing from inside the base, pink to red. Things getting more complicated now. It has the range to fire a cross-continental. Oh, the blue team getting hit by a fleet of Tyrannus. What is the range on the Calamity? It is pretty much the very edge of pig space. They put in the safest location where they could still shell pretty much everyone on the map. And now red might be regretting not going for a plasma cannon. The blue team has been eliminated from World Series contention. And then there were 3. Oh, big hit! Nuclear missile! What are you firing? Oh, he's bringing it around trying to hit the juggernauts? Yes, this is the yellow team juggernauts, the red team. Under siege. Yellow getting hit by pink's Tyrannus fleet after finishing off blue. But 4 juggernauts on the way. There are some commanders in place ready for the D-guns. Hits them with 1. Juggernaut down. The commander will survive it, if that's the only thing hitting. But this commander being targeted. Juggernauts are not enough. Another volley from the plasma cannons. Down goes. The Titans are good, but clearly no match for the Juggernauts directly. And if they get close enough, they can just burn through the chain reaction. Could be absolutely devastating. Another Juggernaut taken down. The commanders are moving up. The Titans trying to box them out so the commanders can get close enough for the D-guns. Another one close. And another one bites the dust. The Titans. Another Juggernaut down, and the chain reaction is dangerous but not deadly. Now both sides have plasma cannons. But the Tyrannus still breaking through. Nuke! Oh, at point blank range. A little bit late. Actually gonna end up nuking the team's units more. Plasma cannon looking for an angle, but the deflector shields are in place. Meanwhile, the battles are still happening in the sea. Over the, wreckage. Oh, the Epic Arquebus. The long-range railgun, just as effectively a massive railgun on, which is very technically mobile. But almost a no man's land in the center of the map, as there are so many long-range weapons at this point. And I think the pink team has a distinct advantage because yellow and red are still in such close proximity. In effect, they're up. Well, yellow actually has 210,000 energy. It's 150 for pink and 130 for red at this stage. The plasma cannon ships engaging. We've got some more exchanges over along the southern front. The hover tanks getting slammed by the flying flagships. Flying flag. They've graduated from the ground base. Oh, that's a lot of anti-air ships, though. And you sunk my battle cruiser. Down it goes. Crashes into the water. Just a regular flagship for a moment. But the massive amount of upgraded anti-air takes down 2 out of 3. Meanwhile, the broadsides continue. Between the... Ooh. Try not to miss any potential. The railguns on their all-terrain legs. That's quite a look. But can fire at anything nearby. These are the Legion Tier 3, and I think look really good. Legion constantly getting new unit models, and right now they don't have all the unit equivalents that they're looking for, but I think it's like 75-80% of the way there. You can play it by just enabling Legion in game. The railguns blasting. Oh, wow, wow, that's a lot of damage. I mean, not surprising, but each of those shots doing, not that, 6,000 damage, I believe, on hit. On a long cooldown, but that's cool. Oh, atomic bomber run. Fighters coming in, but it only takes 1. Oh, no, it's a disaster. Oh, they flubbed it. Not a single bomber made it. Another run is coming in. And if any bombs land on the fusions, but a flub across the board, none of the bombs were unleashed. Meanwhile, some drones, carriers have arrived and then immediately obliterated because they strayed too close. But the drone carriers from the Legion, multiple decoy commanders, the Titans have yet to fall, and now the Juggernauts will be forced to play defense against them. But yellow struggling to hold both fronts right now, but still maintains a huge economy. Phoenixes, the heat rays in the sky. The pink fleet is moving through to the south. Despite having a middling economy, their unit composition and their position on the map has allowed them to keep the pressure on both fronts. And now with the railguns closing in, what do we have up to the north? Some seaplane gunships. Seaplanes unique to water maps, unlocking an entirely new set of units. The Titans are getting dangerously close. They're within the shields. The railguns knocking down everything at the front. It feels like something is going to break for one of these teams soon. And that team will not be the pink. Oh, wait! Red has moved by to the north and just wiped out a chunk of pink's economy. Oh, a chain reaction set of hits. We'll take out some of yellow. The main base! It's gone! I knew we should have stayed on the macro view. But they lost so much there. Red is striking back at pink. Yellow still has the huge economy advantage, but they're getting pushed. Railguns. Nuclear launch detected. Where are they firing? The nuke. It's headed... Oh, my. It's headed south. Danger. Oh, interceptor. At the last moment, it was already headed down. The railguns are getting overrun by the seaplanes. I think they can hit air, but they fire so slowly, it's kind of irrelevant. Another massive ship taken down. A lot of the larger nuclear-powered things have a explosion when taken out. Yellow is now making a lot of progress in pushing through into the red base, which, with their economy wiped out, Another fusion. And the rest of the land is taken down. And they're rolling their way up the chain reaction, making its way through the front line. Not quite to the back. Not yet. But red is down to 82k. They're almost out of the match. The response, the epic Tyrannus, the mosquitoes as well. And then there were two. Emmer with multiple... He resurrected some commanders in order to degun. He's getting dangerously close to being able to do so. Another big hit to the north. A starfall! Oh my. Pink has a starfall. The Legion long-range plasma artillery. Red running out of real estate. They don't have much defense. They may be able to hold for now, but at this point I think they can only play Kingmaker. So yellow has the economic advantage, but pink has the position and the momentum. Another massive hit. They have the long-range plasma cannons. They are bearing down in the economy. All it's gonna take a few shots a slight bit further, and that's the end of yellow's economy. The railgun's still moving thin, like the most advanced musket line. The Legion encroaches. Emmer continuing to push forward. Also, prepare yourselves. Oh, D-guns! There are some tumbleweed. Very slowly but surely making their way up. Huge hits! D-guns! Starfall on the battle cruisers! The Starfall is in range. It's firing now. Yellow doesn't have the plasma. They don't have the deflector shields, which means they're completely exposed. I don't even know if you can get deflector shields on water. But raining down on land. Meanwhile, pink wiping out the rest of the economy. There goes that top left corner. The star falls. That has to be the edge of the range. The stars can only fall so far, but it's very far. Well, so far they're finding targets, wiping out everything on land. And uh-oh. There's a tumbleweed. They see it. It's so tanky though. Oh, wait a second. Multiple ships are moving their way from the south. A lot of the economy is in this corner. Tumbleweed is gonna degun. He's gonna sacrifice. Oh, he gets a bonus. So when commanders blow them up like that, they get like a resistance, which your last line of defense. It's a massive risk, but it can make the difference. Starfall still raining. The ships are just gliding in. They're getting reclaimed actively. The construction turrets can also be deconstruction turrets. They're pretty good at both. But just burning their way through. The Starfall is wiping out the corners, though. Nukes intercepted. The red team is still technically alive, but mass nuke. Trying to overwhelm the anti-nuke. All it takes is one. Firing off more. It appears there are enough interceptors for now. Another volley. Another set of anti-nukes. Do they have enough? We're gonna find out. Oh my. Yes. They hold for now. But the Starfall is still raining. Yellow has the economy, but they're just not able to translate it into legs or boots or hovercraft or air in, around, near, below, or in the general vicinity of the ground. They're still... Both sides are cleaning up what's left of the red team, who I think is going for the potential survival. Technically, if every commander on the other teams is destroyed and one of the red commanders survives, they can claim victory. Though, Would it be a real victory? That's for the philosopher. Oh no. A bombing run coming in. There's no fighter screen. There's actually nothing here. How are they gonna deal? The bombers will continue forward. A lot of flak is keeping them from making a lot of progress, but looks like a couple will get a runoff. Some of them may land on key things. Can this ship even get out? Oh my. I don't believe it. Oh my. The traffic jams are a real issue as well. Civil engineering is an important part of Beyond All Reason. Another set of bombers. Those are seaplane bombers, I believe. What are these things? Self-destruct to deal damage to a target area. They're Scourge. The flagship's getting hunted down by the supporters, which I hope that's a working name, because those are the flagships of the Legion, I'm now realizing. Another set of bombers. The railguns moving forward. I feel like the army value of the pink team is just way higher right now. They're closing in. It's becoming pretty clear they have control of the situation. So either yellow manages to sneak something by the massive... Well, if you don't know what that noise is, that means nuclear launch detected. That is not an explosion. That is a launch. The nukes rise into the sky. About a dozen of them. The anti-nukes will engage, but all it takes is one. And they'll get through. Direct hit. The economy obliterated. Yellow loses about 100,000 energy. And a couple more nukes will land. Insult to grievous injury. The same spot attempted to overwhelm it. But, oh my. Even more crumbling. The Starfall is hitting the plasma shields, which apparently you can build underwater. But the nukes not being intercepted. It looks like they retargeted and will take out the rest. The longest range artillery. The nuclear missiles connect. And I believe, indeed, the team will resign. The pink team, well, technically red's still here. But the pink team from the northeastern corner, with several tactical runs, holding the line across the board with Emmer's efforts in the sea to crush the Navy, and then the consistent pressure put along each side. This is the equivalent of floating your buildings to the corner of the map as a Terran player in StarCraft. But wow, the wreckage throughout the field. They resign. And that will conclude. The survivors are the 12 commanders out of the 22. Still a pretty good ratio on the pink team. Sergeant Raccoon claims the energy resource explosion must have got the... Oh, the self-destruct at the end. As many players will do. Oh, nuking! The dramatic conclusion. The self-nuking. As Pink will claim the victory. Just their team, with over 3,000 units on the map, I'm sure. Well, that was after this, so it was probably 4,000 or 5,000 at that stage. But with a multifaceted control of much of the map, keeping control of their corners, and avoiding the disastrous chain reactions that ended up being the beginning or end of the end for the other teams. I don't know what I expected. Literally, this screen doesn't work anymore. But in terms of damage dealt, he got lit. Well, I'm not even going to pretend. Only we could. These work a lot better when you have less than 100 people. Who is that? Unclear, but... Well, that will be your conclusion. 110 commanders entered. 12 will survive. Pentos is claimed by the pink team. So, thank you for watching. Remember, Beyond All Reason is absolutely free to play and made by volunteers. Yes, I know it's actually, I've seen many comments, both when streaming, which I stream most days, on this channel you're watching as well. Like, it's hard to believe, but the game is made by the players, for the players. Eventually, hopefully, it'll be on Steam and any other platform you're interested in, but for now, well, you can join in. And you don't have to play multiplayer. I actually really like a lot of the PvE modes. So, I'm asking you, you made it to the end. You're clearly dedicated. I have a couple matches I'm thinking about next of this scale. We have 40 versus 40 versus 40 versus 40. 160 players. Or 40 players on each team with the Raptors in the center. The Raptor enemy, essentially the Zerg of Beyond All Reason, that PvE mode I was talking about, but a PvPvE mode. What do you want to see next? I'll take it under advisement, and I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching. I hope this made your day just a little bit better. Be awesome if you have the means and motivation to check out Patreon or YouTube membership, and we might need to rename some of these tiers to apply more unanimously, since, for those who don't know, I also do some StarCraft. Well, have for a long time, but thank you to our Mule tier patrons, Big Jiggy Door, Mario, and Suit. Thank you to the Beyond All Reason team and players for making my day a little bit better, and hopefully I made yours a little bit better as well. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Good luck, have fun, stay unreasonable.